And we're live, talking about Gambit. And I was pleasantly surprised that Jeff and Morgan liked this one.
Hello, I'm Timothy Blobenbach. Sorry, it's just been a while since I did another character, so.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I liked it.
At least
But I didn't hate it either. It didn't make me want to choke somebody or anything. And I didn't fall asleep, so, you know. And I'm fairly tired, so that's a good sign that I was able to maintain enough of my attention that I didn't fall asleep.
Right, I'll read through this and then I'll ask for your overall thoughts and maybe Robert Holmes-isms, like things docharacteristics of his plots. So I'll just read through this is like the fuller version from this book. Docholli is a cyber surgeon reputed to be the only one who still knows the location of Star 1, the new Federation Computer Control Center. He has been traced to Freedom City, a gambling town outside the Federation. Blake, Jenna, and Kelly teleport into the city in search of Docholli. Meanwhile, Travis has already found him on a freighter and, realizing that Blake will soon be on Docholli's trail, decides to wait until Blake turns up in order to kill him. Servalan likewise realizes that Docholli's arrival in Freedom City will attract both Blake and Travis and determines to destroy them both, and indeed Freedom City itself, which she regards as degenerate. Whilst Blake, Jenna and Callie go in search of Docholli around the lower level bars, Villa and Avon discuss life on Freedom City, and Avon recalls its reputation for gambling. They succeed in reducing Aurak in size so they can take it down to the planet and beat the gaming computers, thus winning a considerable number of credits in the main casino, the Big Wheel. The owner of the Big Wheel, Krantor, is also the owner of a large part of Freedom City, and it is he who Servalan approaches for information on the whereabouts of Docholli and Travis. Krantor puts his underlings onto the job of finding the two men, and meanwhile continues to run the casino and its special attraction, an alien known as the Clute, who challenges all comers to games of speed chess. Anyone beating or drawing with the Clute gains 1 million credits, whilst anyone defeated is instantly electrocuted. Whilst Blake, Jenna and Callie continue to search for Docholli, Villa and Avon, with the help of Aurak, win 5 million credits at the gaming tables. Villa is then drugged and tricked into challenging the Clute at speed chess, much to Avon's dismay. Nevertheless, with the help of Aurak, Villa manages to win once more. Blake eventually finds Docholli, and immediately after, Travis, who is anxious for Docholli to execute repairs on his false arm, which he believes has been turned into a bomb by Servalan. Whilst working on Travis's arm, Docholli reveals that, contrary to popular belief, he does not know the location of Star 1. He admits to having worked on the brains of the technicians who built the control center, removing from them all knowledge of the location, but he never scanned their brain patterns whilst inducing the amnesia. However, he did fake the final operation, thus leaving one man, another cyber surgeon called Lurgan, with the memory of the location of Star 1. Blake helps Docholli escape from Servalan and returns to the Liberator to carry on the search for Star 1, leaving Travis with one arm unusable because of the bomb mechanism placed there by Servalan. Blake arrives back with Jenna and Callie only seconds after Avon and Villa return with their winnings, which they quickly hide. There we go.
I just figured out who Dennis Carey is. He was the keeper of Trocken.
Nah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Anthony Ainley?
No, Anthony Ainley was the master.
Yeah, but wasn't he also the key? Wasn't? Oh, it was Treemass. Wasn't he Treebus and it changed?
Yeah. Right.
I thought. You see, I don't remember the Keeper Trocken that well. The plot details.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best in my opinion.
But I do remember that the master took on the form of Nissa's father, I think.
Right. Yeah. Well, he blended with him, like he took over his body and sort of changed into a, you know, a different version of the body. Yeah.
Right. So, your thoughts, Jeff, on the episode, and then we can ask Rachel if she wants to speak.
Well, like I said in my previous commentary, it wasn't great, but it was certainly better than the last one. And they loaded it up with Doctor Who actors that are pretty good. And yeah, it started off kind of shaky. I thought it was going to be a little bit too bizarre, but then it got a little bit better. It left. It was kind of one of those things where it's like, if I just sort of relax and say, okay, just let it happen, let it be fun or whatever, then it is kind of fun. But there's a lot of things that I could pick at if I really wanted to criticize things. Like, the whole thing. Like, I give them credit for not following the usual TV trope of, like, you find this way to cheat at gambling, but then something always ends up taking the money away, and instead they actually did get the money. But they haven't really, so far in the series, they haven't really established any particular thing that money benefits them much.
Yeah, they've already got a load of jewels on the ship.
Yeah, I mentioned that before we got in there to Rachel, because she hadn't seen the previous episodes. So, they have this jewelry that I was like, did they cash that in already? Because they never mentioned it again after that, last one episode in the first season. And so I'm like, what are they planning to do with that money? They haven't really had an episode where they really established anything that they were buying or anything that they, even if it was to buy protection or anything like that, they haven't had that sort of thing. So it makes me wonder, are they actually going to do something with it, or was it just like a one-off thing to, put in this episode? So that's kind of, it leaves me with certain questions about, how all that worked. Yeah. But yeah, you kind of had me worried with some of the stuff you said about it. I was afraid it was going to be this really over-the-top, ridiculous thing, and then it ended up not being nearly that. It was actually pretty straightforward for the most part. So.
You see, I thought the long talking scenes might put you off, like the scenes between Servalan and Charriere and Servalan and Crantor.
Well, I mean, I did think it was silly the scenes where she basically just, where the guy was like, I don't get it, please explain, so that the audience can know exactly what you're planning. I mean, that's pretty much what it was. That Art Garfunkel needed her to explain everything, but not really sure what that was about. Day of the Daleks, I'm looking it up here. Aubrey Woods was the controller guy in Day of the Daleks.
Ah, right, gotcha. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, like I said,
that was good. I like that one. Day of the Daleks.
It's loaded with Doctor Who actors, but I guess people, if they were good, so it makes sense. And Robert Holmes, I don't know how, I don't know whether he actually had any say in the casting or not, but or it was just a coincidence that there's several people that are in Doctor Who stories that he also wrote. But anyway,
I suppose this establishes early on that Vera does know how to play chess, and he's actually probably using a contemporary chess machine from 1979.
That's one thing I was thinking, that they could cover themselves if they, for the technology being outdated in future viewings, if they just said they'd called it a retro casino or something. I mean, they already had the old Mardi Gras fits or whatever, but I guess that's not what they always have. But they could have said something like that, so it's established that this late 70s electronic chess thing was supposed to be like this ancient relic that they were using, as opposed to you would think if the state-of-the-art casino would have, better technology. But anyway, yeah. So that would have been something. That would have been. The cop-out they do use is having ORAC capable of doing pretty much anything they need him to, which I said when they first introduced that thing. But the cop-out they didn't go for was to call it a retro casino, because that way anything that was outdated, we're trying to be retro. So. And anything else that they needed to say that about in the future to make stuff not look old.
Yeah, I mean that's real forward planning, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that stuff might look dodgy 20 years hence, but
right.
Well, almost 40 years hence.
Yeah, in some cases you can explain certain things. Like I remember in the Doctor Who story, the Sensorites, when the Doctor notices a particular kind of watch that's being worn by the astronaut characters, and he says it's the non-winding kind. But you can excuse that by saying, well, he's talking to the two teachers from Earth, so he's trying to explain it in a way they would understand. As opposed to him actually being surprised there was a kind of watch that didn't wind.
I mean, I think when it was the first Travis, I think this was meant to be an electronic eye rather than an eye patch.
See, I'm still waiting for the episode where, they reveal he's been an imposter all along. But that thing about "It's My Noble Nature" was the only line that I actually laughed out loud in this episode, I think. Although I did chuckle at the cat fight with Callie and Jenna.
Yeah.
Especially the off-camera scenes where there was no sound of any contact, just noises like ah. That must have been fun to record.
Did you like Avon's spit take?
Yeah, that was pretty good too. Yeah, he actually seemed a little bit too subdued in some of the scenes. Like after the last episode where I was saying he should have been smacking Villa around, in this one he was downright nice to him. And they actually seemed like, like in the thing where he said something about sometimes I start to like you or whatever. I'm like, yeah, they're getting pretty chummy in this one.
Well, they're both thieves. Ultimately, Avon is a thief.
Well, true, but usually he's more intent on insulting him than anything else. So.
Oh yeah, he just sees him as useful.
I don't mean to rush you, Ben, but I just want to say that the quicker we can go with the rest of this, the better for me. I just want to put that out there.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm zooming through these whatnots.
Because I don't want to have to make a very fast disappearance from the video, but I will if I have to. Just put that.
Right. Okay. How much longer do we have?
Oh, a few minutes probably.
A few minutes. Wow. Bloody hell. Right. What do you have to do then?
I don't really think you want details, so why don't you focus on whatever else.
Oh, okay. It's one of those situations, is it?
I mean, you can finish up without me if you need to, but
Right, wait a minute. Where's the
book, all those funny parody book things?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go. That's what I'm gonna go straight to.
I'm
gonna
say
go
you don't
straight
really
to that.
have to have me around for that if you want.
Yeah, I like getting your reactions to that book. And
all right, well then by all means, punch them up.
Right. Right.
Then we can do that, and then I can go and you and Rachel can discuss metaphysics or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever you and Tim discuss.
Right. I will now. In my doziness, I can transfer quickly because here it goes. I should have translated it before, but all I have to do is Bluetooth it across, and it'll be quick. Right. And right, it's Bluetoothed across. Let's see, and then I'll show it in a moment. Right, there it is. Just transferring those two images.
So Ben, why don't you discuss in great detail all of the socianics-related dimensions of this episode, and I'll be back.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll still be able to hear you.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Well, possibly you could see that the similarities between Avon and Villa in terms of Avon being INTJ and Villa being ESFP, I think. Although I don't think Jeff would like Villa to be on his team. Not brave enough. So Rachel, do you want to say anything?
Villa's the one that went gambling with him, right?
Yeah. Avon is the one. He looked like he was wearing like Baco foil. Like he was going to be put in the oven.
Yeah, they seem like as different as night and day to me, those two. Avon and Villa.
Yeah, no, that's how I imagine the relationship between an ESFP and an INTJ.
Fair enough.
It's
Yeah.
like what?
I don't think Jeff's gonna want to claim them though, just like you said.
Yeah. Now I can go. Now we can go through the. No. Jeff, when he said he had to go, I think that's literally. I think colloquially as well. Oh, I've got to go.
Yeah.
You know. So he had to go in order to go. That's what the audience probably think. That's what I think anyway. Right. Right. And I'll put that in there. And the stuff that's happening behind the scenes right now. A file is transferring its way from England to United States. I won't get any more specific than that. To the United States.
Sorry.
To an Only Fools and Horses episode. Now Gambit. I can now show this. Oh, something's been written inside. Metaphysics. Yes. Hey, what's XD mean?
Oh, it's like a it's like a face, a sideways face that's cracking up, like squinting eyes and a laughing mouth.
Ah, right. And that's actually like the Duchenne smile, with the all the features around the eyes.
Yep. With the squinting.
Yeah. The proper realistic smile. You probably know about that, the Duchenne smile.
You told me about that before, yeah.
Yeah, it was in this book called. It's a book that Victor looked at called Paul Ekman. Ekman's Emotions. The Emotions of Ekman. Right, so I will zoom in on this.
Okay.
We can wait for Jeff to get back before we do the comedy book, the creme de la creme. Now, what I can do is, I took some photos on air. On Wednesday. This house, this is quite a small house. You can see it's not a massive house, but look at the cars in the front. You
can see where the money is going. They got their priorities then.
Yeah, they've got the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Right, Lamborghini, Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
That might be a Rolls Royce. This is a BMW here.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. There, BMW. Then you got like. There's another BMW, I think.
Wow.
Right. Then that's. Right. We can do some resumage. We got to about here. We can just skip forward through these. So what did you think of the episode, Rachel?
Oh, I thought it was pretty funny. I mean, how dramatic the lady was introducing the game, especially, and then you're watching them play, and the guy is just zapped out of existence. That I don't know. I like how dramatic they are about everything. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those episodes with a lot of rewatch value.
Mhm.
Because there's like in Robert Holmes' dialogue, he had a very wide vocabulary, and he used words like perfidious, which is a tendency towards disloyalty. He used vulpine, which means of or like a fox. Eviscerate. I'm not quite sure what eviscerate means.
That's like slicing somebody open, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Now, this is a bit where it actually mentions this in the book, is the actress put the coat on him completely wrong. And so the actor decided, oh, I'll just take it off and then put it over my shoulder. Because she was putting it on him backwards. Oh, this was it. What did you call me? A cheap little space tramp. You slut. A 10 credit touch. Ooh.
Wow.
And then there's a drink, almost in the face. Do that again and I'll... I mean, these actresses complained about not having much to do in the series. Well, dears, I would have told them. Learn how to fight, and we'll give you some more action.
You didn't like their little fight scene?
Yeah, well, I mean, they did do karate in the 1970s. That's where it really took off, didn't it? I mean, both the UK and the United States, all these martial arts places opened, didn't they?
Yeah.
So they could have learned martial arts. Yeah, just randomly have Dracula in the background.
I didn't even notice until you pointed out. Does he have a fang, or is it just a light?
Yeah. It's because it's like costume. But I mean, I suppose the idea is that like
I thought he was wearing a top hat at first.
Yeah, people get the whole thing because it's like set in the past. They get like no, what I mean is from their point of view, like from 700 years before, where they get the details wrong.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, this is just my phone pointed at the screen. Right, and this is where we get the complex bit. This is where we get the plot points. So this is Robert Holmes' intelligence coming through. Right, then we got...
Okay.
Now the only thing I can think of is that when Blake said the bomb isn't primed, and so I think that means is Servalan deliberately didn't prime the bomb.
Yeah.
In which case, they're gone.
Jeff was saying something about that though. Well, you describe it. I'm not really sure how this all works.
Yeah, what it was is if she's trying to set up Krantor so that once if Krantor finds the location, then that means he can be rubbed out because it's that information that there's certain information that if people have, they'll get rubbed out.
Mhm.
That old expression, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. The only bit that was unclear to me was whether
so expressive.
Was whether the bomb was deliberately a dud or not, and I get the impression that it was, because remember it says at the end he says the only thing that can get wrong is he says if Travis gets to Docholli first, and then she says no, I've allowed for that.
Oh.
And that's what I think what she means by that is that the bomb is not being primed, and that's why That's why Blake said, "Oh, it's all right. The bomb's not been primed."
That makes sense.
Oh yeah, and this guy had a Scottish accent, I think.
I'm gonna mute my microphone for a second.
Okay. I'll wait till Jeffy. That's another example, folks. The things you learn in these hangouts: a Duchenne smile, right, where you see the lines around the eyes, right. Right, and this is the bit where, no, I've allowed for that. Even then it won't go on. You see, I've allowed for that possibility too, Joe, yeah. Right, what was that? It reaches Docholli. Right, so that'd probably be a dud then. Okay. It is a bit labyrinthine.
They've got a nun in there too.
Yeah, I know, it's just... Hey, though, let's compare Star Wars. The sort of things that they had in there. You know, the cantina. Didn't they have one person there dressed as the devil?
I think so. That seems familiar,
yeah. Also, the ORAC is a lot smaller than the box. So, I mean, I wonder if that little box there is a lot bigger than... You know, they shrunk it down to that little ORAC. And Jeff said on commentary, folks, that he wants the little ORAC for Christmas. And in fact, I did actually look for that. I went on Amazon and I looked for ORAC because I wanted to buy a little ORAC. I actually did that yesterday, I think. Right, we're getting towards the... Now, this shows that they could have had the lighting down in the 1970s, not have everything overlit. One of the things in film noir is that they would deliberately have the lighting down because they weren't as because the films were cheaper, the film noir films in the 1930s, whereas MGM would have huge sets and they would have more lighting in order to show them off. And you can see there, if you have the lights down, the lighting just becomes a lot better. And I mean, this is overlit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. There's the. Well, you know what that is. You can see.
Wow, those are some good shots.
Yeah, the spit take. And it is timing as well. And it gets over could be playful. He had some very good timing in this, Paul Darrow. Like at the end when he said something like, "Oh, great, wonderful, terrific." Like total, like. Oh yeah, here. What's weird? Right, Villa whispers, but the clute isn't a computer, and he's like, Crantor's like 3 feet over here, and he's saying, "All right, I can give you the answer." He could have whispered.
Yeah.
You know, because this guy whispers, but this one doesn't. You know, he can hear you with your booming voice, your booming theatrical voice.
Yeah.
The location of Star One. That's the computer complex that runs the Federation, and that's the little. What do you think this bit is here, Rachel?
Whoa. I have no idea what that is.
That is a little bit of lace that's on my phone because I can wear the phone around my neck and it just like stuck out over the lens.
Oh, I thought it was something in the shot.
Yeah. Oh no! And then they got rid of it. Yeah. And then there's all that stuff about.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah, Jeff?
On something you said 10 minutes ago.
Okay.
You said it had a lot of rewatch value. I can't. I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, fair enough.
I say, you know, I said earlier, you know, it didn't make me want to murder people, but I also wasn't like, man, I want to see this again repeatedly.
Well, the way I sort of define things in rewatch value is like 5 years' time. Or 10 years' time. I mean...
What this episode made me want to do is like, just take those actors and, like, you know, be able to direct them in a stage play or something and just, you know, put them in something else and just explore their range of talents, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Aubrey Woods.
Of course, most dead now, but anyway.
Yeah. Was he the character in Day of the Daleks that was a little bit morally conflicted towards the end?
Yeah.
That was a good character.
If you say so.
Because I think he was the puppet character. The puppet leader, was he? In the alternate future in Day of the Daleks.
Yeah, this is like, you know, another in a long list of people who team up with the Daleks because for some reason people think the Daleks care about them when they team up with them. But they don't. They're just using them. Always.
I think this may have been a reused costume, because I think Blake had something similar in the previous episode, but I know on his space helmet. That was at this bit from Avon. He says, "Oh, great, wonderful, terrific." The way he delivered that line. Totally not caring at all.
Does the Maximum Power book list the surgeon's name as Broccoli?
You know what? It might do, because that book is written by people similar to yourself, I believe, in terms of their sense of humour.
Because that's what I would have done.
We'll have to see. Yeah, there you go. Aubrey Woods, Dennis Caring.
Paul Grist, that's Viler. John Leeson is K9 and various other characters.
That's who you can blame and/or praise for the... Not and/or. Blame or praise for the costumes. Barbara Kidd. At least she's not June Hudson.
And/or still works.
Yeah.
You can both blame and praise someone.
Oh, yes, yeah, because they can be inconsistent. But June Hudson is the one I don't approve of. She's the one that...
I'm sure she's up nights worrying about your lack of approval.
Right, so what do you think of these Daleks then, Jeff?
They look kind of dodgy, a bit dodgy.
Well, he had another go at it, like one that looked
like
more like
things you plant stuff in.
And this, what about this robot here?
That looks almost Sontaran-ish.
That's from season. That's from Child of a Time Lord.
Okay.
I don't think you've seen that yet.
Yeah, don't tell me anything more about that because I only saw parts of it a long time ago. So.
Yeah, and he means a long time ago, folks.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Last century, I think.
Back in the Dark Ages when I was a little boy. Well, not that little boy, but, you know, right around preteen age, I guess.
Ah, they've not done your joke, Jeff. So your joke is original.
Alright then.
Your broccoli joke. Right. What we got here? Let's see if they put anything in there.
Cop taking notes.
Pardon?
And so we do have cop taking notes in the cast, though.
Really? Oh, wow. Well, I don't know who that is, Vittori Fanfoni. Ah. Yeah, you've probably not seen Carry On Cowboy, and you probably don't know who Joan Sims is.
Nope. I don't even know who Zed is.
Yeah, they actually called him Z in the story.
Who?
Z, the guy who turned up at the beginning, he was angry with the job that...
oh, and wasn't he played by the same actor that played Blake's lawyer in the first episode? Because that's who he looked like.
Let's have a look. I'll have a look.
It would be really funny. I remember thinking at the time that'd be really funny because I just discussed that during their commentary in the last episode, why they would randomly bring back a character from the first episode but have a different actor playing him. So it would be especially ironic that in the next episode they would bring back an actor from the first episode but have him playing a different character.
Got Robert Beatty as Foster, Gillian Bailey as Ravella, Alan Butler as Richie, Robert James Blind, still. No, I don't think so. No, it was Michael Halsey. I actually thought it was. You know when I saw him initially, I thought it was the guy that played. I thought it was Morris Coburn who played Lytton in Doctor Who. You know the guy who turned. You know the guy in Resurrection of the Daleks. And then is there another one which you've probably not seen yet, because I don't know if you've seen season 22 with Colin Baker's first season. So I won't mention that.
Well, yeah, a long time ago, except for the first one. I saw Twin Dilemma only a couple of years ago.
Right.
That was the last one that I watched before I started trying
that would have put
myself.
That would have put me off as well. Twin Dilemma. The only good bit about that is that Nicola Bryant's in it.
Well, I thought there was a lot of good things about it. They kind of rushed the ending. They didn't seem to really come up with a good way to end it, but it had plenty of good things, especially the first episode.
And you've got the actor in from Genesis of the Daleks, who played one of the Garman, the actor playing Garman. Right. As the father of the two twins. Right, what about this bit? You just described the story. Do you agree with that?
Was Jerry Eyre the Art Garfunkel looking guy?
Yeah.
Okay. But see, his wasn't... He didn't do most of the exposition. He just kept asking for the exposition. Because he was like, I don't get it. Explain the entire life story to me from the beginning. So I wouldn't call it his long and tedious pieces of exposition. But yeah, I get what your point is, which I also had said before I read this.
Yeah, he should have written Servalan and Jerry Ayres, or Servalans. Yeah, you're right, yeah. It made a little bit of an error.
What's that?
Ah! Oh yeah, you were saying that bit there. They should have said Servalan's eternally long and tedious piece of exposition too, Joey.
Yeah.
Sandman Port. Yeah, maybe it looks like the label, something on the label. Right then. So Jeff, do you want to read this through?
No.
I'll read it through then. Acting on a hot tip, the crew go in search of Docholli, a cyber surgeon with knowledge of Star One. The latest, definitely the actual, real, living, genuine control center, honest, of the Federation. Right.
You just skip all that and get to the funny part, which is when Travis turns up in a silly hat, you know this isn't exactly going to be a classic. He also appears to have walked into a sheet hanging on a washing line. Poor sausage.
Yeah. Huh. That's true. She did. And now a boss-eyed pensioner dressed as a slutty penguin appears. That's that old woman. Appears inside a giant shower cubicle to deliver some short sort of slow motion impersonation of Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, see, this is my point about the first few minutes. I was a bit worried based on what you had said, and then The first 5 minutes is unmatched by any other TV program in history. It's just achingly absurd, as though several costume and set design lorries have crashed, and the bus full of demented old tramps they've crashed into decide to put on a show until the ambulances arrive.
Yeah, this is why I like you to read it through, Jeff, because then I know what you're laughing at.
Yeah, against all the efforts of the makeup and costume departments, Aubrey Wood succeeds in giving a typically luscious performance. I'm not sure if I would describe it that way, but John Leeson previously played Thingy in the Doctor Who story The Power of Kroll, also written by Robert Holmes. It makes you think he must have had some say in the casting, that he's got all of these people that were in his previous story.
Yeah. He was the best Doctor Who writer.
I don't remember enough to agree with you completely, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I just say I don't have enough information to agree with you. So.
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about my all-time favorite stories, most of them weren't written by Robert Holmes, but that doesn't mean that overall he still might not be the best writer. Like that's true with The Simpsons, for instance, because the best writer in The Simpsons ever is John Swartzwelder, and he wrote the most episodes, and a lot of them are good, most of them. But when I do my rankings of like the top 10 ever, then he's maybe got one
Okay.
or two at the most of them. So even though he's written overall a lot of really the best, he was the best writer, but the very best ones weren't ones he wrote.
Well, I like the Robert Holmes ones. I like the double acts that he does, the characterization,
Yeah,
and those sorts of things.
if I remember right, and like I said, it's been a while since I went through, so I don't remember the writers of all of them off the top of my head. But I think the Robert Holmes Doctor Who that I ranked the highest was the Time Warrior.
Oh, that's brilliant. With the
is the only Third Doctor story that I rated a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, for all the medieval dialogue was fantastic.
Yeah, it's hard to find too many flaws in that one. He had to juggle introducing a new companion.
Yeah, he hated it. He didn't want that challenge.
Yeah, he had to do that. Have basically two different settings, because you got the modern stuff and then you got the medieval stuff, and then you got an alien and stuff going back and forth. But then you got the intrigue of the new companion thinks that the Doctor is a bad guy, and all that stuff, and the great stuff of the great interplay between the main warrior guy and the Sontaran warrior, and everything that happens between those two. So great dialogue, and everything just comes together really well. But anyway, back to this. Orak's been taking stupid pills. Con him into shrinking, yeah. Like, just like, hey, Orak, bet you can't shrink yourself. Bet I can. No, you can't. No, I bet I can. No, you can't. Oh, he did it. Oh. We got him to shrink. Oh, got him. Got him. I don't know who H is, so I don't get that joke either.
Is the name of an extra, I think.
An extra? There's got to be more to it than that.
Yeah, it's also is the name of a background artist. They actually got him to write a preface for this book, Maximum Power. They just went for the joke of getting a totally an extra to write the preface, rather than one of the big stars or the producer.
That's the best stocked bar in the galaxy. Green, yellow, different green. It's all on there. Yeah.
The Crotons.
See, they said Leo Sayer. I went with Art Garfunkel. I don't know. I'd have to see a picture of Leo Sayer to know.
That's a good
like
one.
him.
I mean, they pretty much both do, I think. But Leo Sayer is a real good. That's a good one. That's a good call, Leo Sayer.
As he rocks Servalan in her swing, we're definitely into David Lynch territory. Yeah.
There's more. There's another. Like they went to town on this episode. They did a load of entries. There is quite a bit of Tencel and party streamers, though.
Is Sylvia Coleridge the
The old woman, yeah.
lady?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I would be highly surprised if she's still alive.
Yeah, well, most of the people I previously mentioned are not still alive.
Yeah.
Although I think Filer might be. I can't remember.
Oh, that's not too much of a spoiler, that, about the two doctors, Chesini.
No, I'll eventually see it. Don't know when, but I'll eventually. That's one I'm pretty sure I've never seen, even when I was a kid. I think I missed that one.
Yeah, Jacqueline Pierce is in that story.
I saw pretty much all the other ones from the classic series that had multiple doctors in it, but I didn't see that one.
You know that one, that third paragraph? I think that's absolutely true. Sylvia Coleridge's performance makes the viewer think they're drunk, even if they've never touched a drop.
Yeah, that's why I asked you who that was, or was that the presenter lady?
There we go.
I'm not sure what their obsession is with the drinks, but it is amusing. Just not sure why they keep saying. Oh, they're calling boss-eyed slutty penguin. I thought they were referring to the other lady as the slutty penguin before, because she's the one that had the low-cut outfit, the bartender lady.
No, not her. They just that old woman with the French accent.
Yeah,
As the slutty penguin.
I'm not sure why they thought she came across as slutty. She just comes across as bizarre.
Yeah, he would do things like this, Robert Holmes, with his names. Like these
I don't know
anagrams.
who Matt Irvine is, or what a WI meeting, or Bridlington, but I can still chuckle at that just because I can imagine something that would be boring.
Right, WI is Women's Institute meeting, which was basically those days as a load of old middle-aged women.
Okay.
Usually of a conservative bent.
I'm not sure why.
I don't know
why they mentioned stuff about survival. That's kind of random, but yeah, that cat did not look comfortable.
Yeah.
The cat was like, do I really have to be in this scene? Come on, save me from this guy. I wonder if they got along, if the actor and the cat got along as well as the guy who played Data and his cat, because they did not like each other either.
That one we know it says Severdick. Is that true about those other things? I don't know. Are they taking the mickey? Is there a Clee Fardick and a Key Fardy?
I don't remember those weird character names, so you got me. But when you said it, it sounded like it. I was like, a severed dick. What? That sounds pretty nasty.
Yeah, it actually sounds more like, that's as you said, severed dick rather than
sounded like
dick.
When you said it.
Yeah, and you probably know what CSO is.
Yes, I actually do know what that stands for.
Yeah, and for Americans listening, that's the English version of chroma key, which is a better name for it, actually,
I'm not
because it
sure
reminds people.
that anybody in America would be more likely to have heard that term than they have the other. Probably none of most people have heard either one.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, a penguin, Dracula, a nun, and a cavalier. Which wasn't written by Robert Holmes. Yeah, that was the final episode of proper Doctor Who survival. Although I actually do include the Paul McGann one as proper Doctor Who because I quite like that one.
I think the Delaware thing is another Doctor Who reference too, if I remember right. Didn't they have like one story that had a different version of the theme song?
Yeah, I think it was like a boingy version of the theme tune that they thought they might use for John Pertwee.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was all like boingy and electronic, and it didn't work. Maybe it was that one.
They only used it in one story. But off the top of my head, I can't remember which one.
Right, and then we go. This is the final page. Disappear-a-thon.
Yeah. Yeah, when he said that thing about, I was like, snakes aren't particularly devious. I don't know whether they're perfidious because I don't know what that means, but they're not really devious. At least not that I know
Perfidious is Perfidious is a word that Robert Holmes uses a lot. I think he used it in Gambit, a story he wrote in season D. He used it, I think, in Caves of Androzani as well. It means a tendency towards disloyalty. So he could have just used the word treacherous for perfidious.
Again, I would say that doesn't characterize a snake either, because in order to be disloyal, you have to be capable of being loyal, and they really aren't. So
maybe you could have put is as perfidious and devious as an ESTP.
Do you know of any like TV show or movie that actually has a direct like reference to MBTI? Because I
don't. But
there's
should be.
Been plenty of things written where you know that the writers had to have some knowledge of that by the way they do it, but I have still to this point never seen anything that has a direct reference to it, which makes me want to do a movie where I do that.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. I mean, like the number of people who have taken the MBTI running into the millions.
You would think that, I haven't seen it, so I don't know, but you would think one of those shows like The Office or something would have had, the employees taking it at some seminar or something like that.
Well, that could be the pilot. In your sitcom, that could be the pilot. They could actually they could talk about Kersey, the book, to put it for the Kersey temperament sorter.
No, I have a better idea than that, is to do a movie and a cartoon.
Well, we are being recorded, so maybe you want to hold on to it.
Yeah. I do a cartoon show where the characters can turn into the animal representations that Kersey mentioned in the book, like the beaver and the fox and stuff.
I bet the beaver's an SJ.
Yes. You read the book. You should remember that.
I've read parts of the book.
You made all sorts of colorful notes in it. You should have.
If I'd have read all of the book.
You didn't draw a beaver? Come on.
No, if I'd have read all of the Kersey book, then I'd be dangerously knowledgeable. But I've only read a tiny fraction of it.
Well, what the heck are you doing, marking things up and making diagrams? Get back to reading it.
I read very slowly because I analyze it. That's one of the things.
I expect a full report come Saturday.
But I read very I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it's in there in the IMDb profile. It's about like over-analysis, and so it means.
I don't know what a pataki cake is either.
I think that's just something he made up.
And the only pataki I know of was the guy who used to be governor in New York.
Yes, that's right. That's a real thing, people. That's not just made up. Didn't he run in the Republican primary? I mean, lots of people did.
Yep.
You might have run in it as well, Jeff. Look, there's so many people in it.
Yep. I would if it didn't.
I don't remember you on the debate stage.
Yeah, if it didn't cost money to run, I totally would have. Like, you have to pay a filing fee to be on the ballot for every state that you want to be on the ballot. So, of course, I don't know how they do that exactly. Like when it came to the debates, because they would have the one debate where it was like everybody polling above a certain percentage, and then the other debate for everybody else, but it wasn't everybody else, because there were still candidates they excluded.
Yeah.
That weren't well-known people, because there were other people on the ballot, and they didn't invite them to the debate. I'm like, hey, why does Pataki, who's polling like less than 0.5%, why does he get to be there, but then the guy who's polling 0.003% isn't on the stage?
Yeah, I mean, I've still got a video to watch, because I wanted to watch Rand Paul on the undercard debate.
What's that?
Oh, well. I still have a video to watch of the previous debates. A Rand Paul one. You know where they have like the undercard debate? It would have been more Rand Paul, you see.
But he
I've not watched it yet. He wasn't in
undercard debate.
He was one a few months ago.
No, he never.
Where he didn't make the cut.
Yeah, he skipped it and did his own thing instead.
Oh no!
He did like a live broadcast on some crappy streaming service.
Oh, he shouldn't have done that. He should have joined the debate. He should have taken advantage of having extra time.
Well, he actually, of course, it didn't end up translating into votes, but he actually got like more media mentions from doing that than he probably would have if he'd been in the debate, because they never talked about the other debates. Anyway.
Yeah, that bit about the coat. Did you notice that, Jeff, with your superior sensing skills?
No,
where she makes the balls up of putting his coat on,
I don't
and so he just takes it off.
That Rogue is so.
She's the old chick with a large bust.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't really pay much attention to that part.
I suppose late middle age. Yeah, that's right. He realises she's putting the coat on wrong, and then he just takes it off and puts it over his shoulder. I actually deliberately took some grabs of that. I will show that.
You also took way too many pictures of Art Garfunkel. I could see that as you were scrolling by.
Yeah, you see here, this is where she put the coat on it all wrong, and then he decides, oh, I won't put it on, I'll just take it off and put it over my shoulder.
Yeah, that's you've already talked more about that than is necessary.
Yeah, there we go. Right then. Right.
I'll give it a 5.5.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, because, I thought about 6, but then I was like, well, there's a couple of previous episodes that were definitely better than this one that I gave a 6 before, so I'm going to have to...
Oh, which ones were those?
I don't remember. Go back and watch our old reviews.
Oh, no. Right. Okay.
I've only seen these once, Ben. I haven't memorized everything that's
right.
old stuff.
I'll ask Rachel, how many out of 10 do you give it?
10.
Whee!
What about you, Ben?
I'll knock a point off for them not casting a better looking actress as that old French woman. Who's presenting it.
Okay.
If they'd gone with a young, attractive woman, then that would have made it better. Then that would have made it 10 out of 10.
So what's your score?
9. I'll give it a 9.
So you give it a 9 instead of a 10 because you're ageist. Is that the word for it?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Discriminating against the old woman. Yeah. See, at least I had valid reasons for my, score as opposed to just being like, oh, that woman wasn't attractive enough to me.
Oh, come on, Jeff. You've watched whole series just because of the women in it. Like the soaps.
Yes, I have. I admit that. But I don't say, well, give this episode a 5. I would give it a 10, but that one woman, she just didn't have the eyebrows for the job, Anyway.
Right, oh yeah, so
Bon voyage.
hope folks can see this. See video leaks for links. On one of those links is Jeff's video, ESTP's Y.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that yet, then watch it. Or if you have seen it, watch it again.
So, it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.
Bye.